Welcome, fans of all the state of Kentucky, to the Loyal BBE Fan Show. This is Jimmy, and we're going to just talk today a little bit about recruiting. I'm going to talk a little bit. I've had several people hit me up in the last 3 or 4 or 5 days this past week, wondering what is going on with Nate Ament and his recruiting saga. And it has gone on a long time. I've seen John Wall's recruitment go all the way up until June. And I'm glad this one is maybe going to be wrapped up on April the 1st, which is, yes, everybody, April Fool's Day, but that's the day that they play the McDonald's All-American game. And before the game, during halftime, they will probably have him make his announcement live on the channel, which I'm assuming is going to be an ESPN. But even with what is going on, along with Louisville, is a team, if you've been following Fanscape is where fans can put money up, and that player will actually get that money if he chooses their school. If not, those people are refunded their money back and it's nothing out of their pocket. But right now, Louisville was pushing about 90 something thousand dollars that he would actually get on top of his NIL deal, along with everything like that. But Kentucky was in second place, and they was in a very, very distant second place at about maybe pushing 50,000 right now. That being said, I still think the recruiting is between Louisville and Duke. I know that Arkansas and Calipari has stepped in and they had him on a visit. So I don't know how far that's going to go, but I'm thinking that it's Louisville, Duke, and maybe Kentucky as a 3 as of right now. But I have not heard anything. It's one of the most silent, recruiting sagas I've ever really been a part of and paid attention to, even though I'm not even close to being 60% chance that he would come to Kentucky's. We'll just wrap that up with Nate Ament, and we'll talk a little bit before that, maybe right before that weekend of April the 1st, and see if I've heard anything else. We're going to talk a little bit about transfers. Right now, the transfer system is in effect. I don't think that until March the 22nd, I do not think that there is any real contact. I mean, there's always going to be something. But one player that Kentucky has been talking about and maybe with is a guard from Wyoming. And that is, his name is Obi Agbim, and he is from Wyoming. He's going to be a 6'3". He's 180 pounds. He is a very dynamic player. He can shoot. He is a great passer. He controls the tempo of the game. He does not turn the ball over very often. He is a great assist player. He keeps everybody involved. And this is a player that I know we have players that's coming in this year, but he could be a great player that comes in and backs up Jasper Johnson, Caden Lewis. He'd be right there with Travis Perry of helping this backcourt and making sure that this year we have a healthy backcourt. There's also with a player out of North Dakota, Treysen EagleStaff. He is a dynamic 6'6" guard. He was averaging about 26 points a game, and there was a few games he had 51 points in one game in their conference tournament. He also scored 40 points on Alabama at the beginning of this season. He is one of those players that kind of reminds me of Rex Chapman, that if people can go back and remember Rex, but he reminds me of a player like that, player like Tyler Hero, a player that can, they get to their spots real easy. They have pull-up jumpers. They can shoot it off of the dribble. They can catch and shoot. These are some great players, and it would be a great advancement for Kentucky to have a player like this on the roster for next year. Also, there is a player from Purdue, Braden Smith. This is a new player that I have just actually talked about in the last day or two. 6'3" point guard. He is dynamic. He is a great player for Purdue, and I am wondering why he might want to be transferring from Purdue, but that's stuff that I have not heard. But I know that maybe at the time right now, if he is talking about coming to Kentucky, I don't know that he would want to be at Kentucky as a role player. I think that he wants to be the ball in his hand, and he would be that player. And I do not know how a Caden Lewis would respond to that. I don't know if Pope, as far as I know, he said there is no promises of any player starting at Kentucky. So you played your way into being a starter. I don't think that Caden Lewis is a one-year player anyhow. He might need 1 year to be playing a half a game, being a backup player, and then the next year it could be his year. But I mean, we're just gonna talk about that in a later thing. But that's about three of the. There's a few more that's in the portal. That there's a couple players that I've seen that has put their name in, but I have no links that anything is happening with Kentucky on those situations. We're gonna skip from there. We're just gonna go to a little bit of international news from players from overseas that will probably be in contact or probably has already been in contact with Mark Pope. He is a great coach of getting players from overseas to come to the schools that he has been at previously before Kentucky. And I think he's going to continue that tradition. I don't think you're going to see a whole roster full of international players, but it's going to be a roster that we might have one or two. It'll work itself out eventually. But the one player that I'm really looking at is Luigi Suigo, 7'3", 240 pounds, out of Italy. This boy could play basketball in the NBA right now. I'm not going to say he's going to start and that he's going to average 25 points, but he can play right now in the NBA. I just don't think that with the eligibility, the rules and everything, he has to wait for a certain amount of time before he can come into the draft. And I think he will not be eligible until after the next seasons of college basketball. There's players from Germany, Hans Steinbach, 6'10" center. There's a player out of Nicaragua, David Nurkovic. I'm hoping that I got that right. He's 6'9", a forward. Ivan Turkov from Munich, 6'6", wing player. Michael Perez, he's out of Italy. He's 6'9", swing forward, power forward. And then we have Kareem Lopez. He's projected to be like the number 6 overall player in a draft, but I do not think that he will ever play college basketball. I believe it will be he'll just wait until he is ready to play in the NBA. And there's a possibility that there's some more linked players that is actually still playing in the NCAA tournament on top of the international rules that we're talking about. One is a player from BYU that Mark Pope did coach. I think everybody knows his name. I'm not going to mention it because he's still playing, and I'm sure that Mark Pope and them has not even talked or anything. But I believe after the season is over, they both will have a sit down and a talk. But that is about everything that I've got going on. I've got a lot going on with 2026 recruits coming up, and we'll probably talk a lot more about that after the wrap-up season of this portal transfer season. It is going to be ecstatic. I'm sure right now there is so many players. I'd say it's over 100, 200 players that has probably already said that they're going to put their names in or already has. Other than that, I'm going to get off here and let everybody, hopefully everybody has a great afternoon. Enjoy the NCAA tournaments with this fan base. I'd love for you to hit that like button, subscribe, and let's have fun with this. And just everybody, please just follow us. And hey, we'll always be there for you. And this is going to be a great show. Just keep with us. And thank you so much, all the Big Blue fans. We appreciate everything that you have brought for us. Thank you.